Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. So, what I've noticed, and I know I have just a little voice, and I hope one day some people start listening to these things, or other people start saying the same things. I know there probably are people doing that. I don't want to just, well, it's not a waste, because even if one person listens and changes their mind, then it's good. It just seems frustrating sometimes that no matter who you are actually, whether you're BTIC, or, whoever, campaigning for change, campaigning for truth, it's still, you wake up the next day and the same things are still there. It seems like it's a battle that can't be won, or I guess it's a long game. It's going to take ages and maybe happen by accident or enlightenment if people do suddenly become wise. But I don't really see that. Not unless we get rid of television and journalism and selfishness and all those things which I don't see going. In fact, it's getting worse, isn't it? Now the media, social media, is part of everyday existence. It's in your hand. Before, it was, when TV was first on, it was a few hours, and then it was 24 hours, and then it was, like just when you got home. But now you can watch it on the train, you can watch it at work, you can communicate with everyone. And there is advantages to that because it's made us see the whole world, put it in front of our eyes. But a lot of it that we see is the glossed up stuff. We don't see the real suffering that goes on in people's lives every single day. And I know this is the same argument I always come down to: the system, the old ways, the system that we live in, that we've all decided to adopt and to accept as our way of life, as if it's set in concrete and can't be changed. And I see this with a few more examples where you can see that the system that we all are supporting, keeping alive, is not working. And a few examples of that is the royal family. I mean, I know I've mentioned this many times and probably don't really need to, but this argument over the Duke and Duchess of Sussex versus the royal family, another way to sort of keep an argument going, and it's probably no disinterest. It's probably a good thing for both parties because it keeps people talking about them and just taking sides and fighting against each other rather than actually solving the real problem, which is, do we really want to live in a world where some people get to live in castles whilst other people are suffering? We want to talk about the suffering that Meghan Markle went through with mental health, which is something obviously in the racism issue that's come a light now. Well, I mean, most of us already knew these things. We all know some of the things that Prince Philip has said in the past. We all know about white colonialism. We all know about the royal family and its position on slavery and things like that in the past. We all know the things that used to happen in this world, and how much we can blame on other people of the past, I'm not sure, because they were born like we are into a set of rules and a set of ideas, and that shaped how we acted. So it's not like a blame game or a judgment game I'm trying to say, but just historically we know there is a lot of issues with lots of things, but the real issue is, and I think this is the problem I see with a lot of things, is people stop too short. You got one bad apple, but the whole tree is rotten. You don't just take off the one bad apple and then, you've got 3 good apples there. When the rest of the tree is already starting to rot, you get rid of the whole thing. I know that's a bad analogy, but that's what I'm trying to say, is that, with this issue of racism and what's the other issue? Racism and mental health. the real issue that we should be getting to is, do we want to have an elitist set of people who get to live above everyone else, who don't have to do the things, the suffering that we all have to do, that are allowed to... I mean, I don't need to spell it all out. Most of the people listening to this already know these things, but it just seems like, yeah, okay, racism is wrong, mental health is wrong, I understand that. But the real thing is the raw family is wrong. This idea of them is wrong. It may have set nicely with people's minds and attitudes 1,000 years ago or even 300 years ago, but now surely not. How, what do you expect? Do you expect good things from these people when they're living in luxury whilst knowing that there are people that are sleeping on the streets, children that are sleeping on the streets in their own country, not less around the world? All those things that are going on, how can you stomach it when you're living in, these huge castle like it's something out of a Hollywood movie? There's no justification for that. There isn't, is there? Well, you can try and say it's someone else's problem, but as Douglas Adams would say, but that's not the answer. The truth is that how do they turn a blind eye to the suffering that's going on, knowing they have all these billions at their feet, all this land, all these castles? Fuck history. Turn it into a place for the people who don't have homes. I mean, how many of them are abandoned or not used? So we need to solve the major problems. It's the same with the Sarah Everard case. Another example of the system not working for women, same as the system doesn't work for people of colour. So what are we going to do? We're just going to go protest? We're just going to go have a vigil? Well, they can't even do that because of COVID-19 versus human rights of even though standing outside 2 meters apart with face masks, what's the danger in that? But it's just another example. You can see the system that we live in doesn't work for women, doesn't work for people of colour, doesn't work for people who are not of a family that has money or the luck of being able to do things that you want to do. So we're not going to get to the root of the problem, the system, the choices, the way that we live. I mean, it's free to us. The thing is, I know, the thing is because it's it's simple for me to say, and it is a simple argument, but the problem is multi-layered, because it's in the hands of how many, well, in truth, all of us, 7 billion people, but I guess those 1,000 people in power, how many, 10,000, whatever number it is, around the world, that keep the system alive, that don't want to change it. They just want to change it by little. Let's put a new law in, and let's take 5 to 10 years to make those changes. Just these small little things. Let's correct this little bit, as if the whole bloody thing works. The way we're living is like this run-down car that's just plodding along, that we just keep pushing it, keep it going. But you're being told that this car that you're driving isn't like that. It's a Mercedes, and it's the only one, it's the best one. But it's not. And you can see that. The way to judge it is you look at the suffering that's going on for people of colour, women, people without money, all these different things. I know I'm beating on the same drum over and over again. I don't know how it will change. Like I say, it's those people in power, those people that are keeping them in power, are the only ones that can ever change it. Unless there's some H.G. Wells catastrophic event and that forces us to rebuild, but then we'll probably rebuild the same old shit, so I don't know. I sometimes think, what's the point? Because it never changes, no matter how vented you get, no matter how many views you get. Yeah, it's changing little by little. Yeah, I get that. But the things that people get angry about, small little things, rather than the main things, probably because they're not showing them or not made to feel that you need to get angry about these things, and why are we accepting the way that we live? Anyway, that's enough of my depressing rant. Take care, take it easy, God bless, and peace.